where do you listen from? Are you listening from this self, this, the body and the mind and the thing and the world and the phone and the how do I look on television and how am I coming across? And it's like, it's exhausting. Or are you coming from this? We are bigger than all this. This awareness, this bigness of who we actually are is much bigger and is a much more powerful context from which to live, I find for myself. And yes, I get caught up in this stuff and I say, wait a minute, let me just reframe this. Let me come back to the awareness of what I know that I've learned over time, and from people who have been there to support me in many, many ways. So if I'm living from that place, this bigger place, this larger context, the content won't matter so much. And if I find that I'm listening to this programmed mind, this tape, this loop that goes on over and over and over again, then I'm not being my real self. I'm not being my authentic self. I'm not being the being that I can bring to every project I do, every interaction that I have, every kind of way of living this life. And I think as I mature, I begin to realize that that's more important. It's like, I got caught up this morning in like the bags under my eyes. I'm like, wait a minute, okay. Jesse's gonna be here and Jesse will fix it and Seiji will fix my hair and then you won't see the bag so much. Okay, fine. But, I find myself getting caught up, but I do my very best to remind myself again of what's the real self? What's the real place to be coming from? And if we all walk through life like that, there's something else that begins to happen. And there's a different kind of connectedness that we all have with each other that brings us to a different place that makes the world different, less bigoted, less unhappy, more
softer,
tender, vulnerable. And I find that we're afraid so much in this world to be that, to come from that place. And when you do, all of a sudden the world opens up in very different ways. And I'm not talking about like, you do this and then the universe will give you this. I don't mean that. I mean really genuinely caring, connecting, wanting to be there for each other. And I find that the world right now, as we all know, is in this place where we're so divided and we're so unhappy and we see things happening over and over and over again. And I think it's our responsibility to look at the way we're being with each other, to bring something else into our world. And I think that's really essential.